I'm Lieutenant Commander Shear. My current role is that I'm the Senior Leadership Advisor for the Operational Support Unit. I've had 12 years in the reserves after being active for 8 years. For about the last 7, I've been the CO of this unit. But now that it's close time to retire, I've turned over this position to Lieutenant Major, and basically have taken on an advisory role so that things will keep running smoothly, or as smoothly as they have been. I've had to employ many different leadership styles. When I first came into the Navy, I came into the Navy 20 years ago. Came in active, went into the nuclear pipeline. I spent 5 years on submarines, where leadership there was lead by example. You led the way, you did the work, you showed the crew what you were willing to do. Coming in, I wasn't didn't have all the Navy knowledge that I do now. So you had to prove yourself that you're willing to work hard and lead in that way. As time goes by, after a few years, you start gaining that knowledge. People start coming to you now, and your leadership becomes that of having the more authority figure, where people are willing to listen to what you say. They've already seen what you're willing to do, and by now, I've actually gotten to the point where I'm a mentor for the other leaders, and they haven't seen what I've done, but they haven't seen personally what I've done, but they've seen my records, my legacy, basically, of where I've been, and they know that the respect is there. Being a good leader, one of the most important things is don't ask anybody to do something you wouldn't do. If you're not willing to do it, they'll see right through you. People will see through a facade. Sometimes as leadership, you hit the deck plates. For people doing the grudge work, that have to do grudge work, there's nothing more valuable than to see their leader doing the grudge work with them. You don't have to do it all the time, but for example, we cook breakfast here on Sunday mornings. A lot of times it's the enlisted. A lot of times it's the lower enlisted, because it all rolls downhill. It means a lot to them when every couple months the officers do it instead. You get the high-ranking people to show, hey, we're willing to do it too. And that means a lot. And so that's basically what I go by. Don't ask people to do what you won't do. Really, there's not a lot of differences. The difference is here in the military, when I tell somebody to do something, it's considered an order and they have to do it. There isn't a choice. In the classroom, and I still see this, they don't have to do it. It's their choice. If they want to choose to fail, they can do that. If they don't agree with what you want them to do, they can ask why. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? And there's always, you always have to be able to answer that question. But in the military, it's a little bit different in the way that they have to do what they were told to do. They understand they can come back later and ask why, but that's one of the biggest difference with military and classroom. Actually, we just made a tough decision. For evaluations, our enlisted get promoted based on our annual evaluations of them. And we have to rank them. Sometimes it can be difficult. We have 3 outstanding sailors that could really all be classified as our #1 sailor. And we had to go through and decide who's #1, who's #2, and who's #3. We didn't necessarily like having to do that because we wanted to give them all a #1. We knew #3 would have hurt feelings, but we had to do that anyway. We based our decisions on, obviously, their performance first, and we saw that they all came out pretty equal there. Then we looked at, okay, who will benefit the most from being #1? who will be harmed the least from being number 3, and had to go with it that way. Sometimes our gut feelings have to be put aside and we just have to go by numbers themselves, but sometimes we have to say this is how we feel. That's sometimes the tough part.
My title is a Senior Chief Bosu's Mate. What that means is I'm enlisted. I'm an E8. My main responsibility here is being a senior enlisted leader for the OSU 1377 unit here. I report to Lieutenant Mike Major. I basically handle all the issues that all of the junior sailors, 45 or so people, would have. The military command structure is broken into 2 parts. There's officers and enlisted people. Officers almost always have some sort of degree, a 4-year degree of some sort, and they don't enlist. They get what's called a commission, and their commission is in the Navy as an ensign is O1. The O is for officer, and the 1 is for the first pay grade. On the enlisted side, they start out as an E1, and they go to the recruit and they go to boot camp. I'm an E8, so technically, the ranks go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's one higher than me. Mm-hmm. And then we switch over to the officer ranks. Junior officer in 01, we call him an ensign, and then a lieutenant, junior grade, then a lieutenant. Right now, my commanding officer of this unit is a lieutenant, which is technically a junior officer. He's pretty much done being a junior officer, though he's relatively experienced. My role is, in addition to leadership, these guys is also leadership of the junior officer, because they're also very new to the Navy. They've been in the Navy for a long time. Training them. You're generally dealing with somebody who's 23, 24 years old, who probably hasn't had to lead anybody much in their life. So I'm training those guys on. Right now we're just in administrative mode. When we go into an operational mode, we mobilize and deploy my leader. Things, our missions are different. I've gotten mobilized and sent to Iraq a few times, and once to Afghanistan with different missions. There, my role becomes a lot less administrative in nature and more hands-on, or deck plate, as we like to say, leadership of a patrol of boats, which is the Navy that most come from, or a convoy operation in Iraq or Afghanistan, something like that. Typically, my position is running the mission. Mm-hmm. I'll be tasked with taking a patrol of 5 or 6 boats out to do an interdiction mission or a force protection mission or something like that. So all aspects of taking, 5 heavily armed patrol boats with 30 sailors 200 miles away and getting them fed and home and alive and everything like that. And in this venue, when we're on a mission, we're asking people to do things that have a very strong likelihood of getting them killed or hurt really badly. Mm-hmm. They need to know that you have their back. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times it's for effect. I'm ridiculously early. I'm always ridiculously early. It's critically important for a manager or leader to be the first one there. So when we're getting ready to go on a mission, we kick off at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll be there at 3. Mm-hmm. And I'll already be armed up. I'll have my gear. I'll be ready to go at 3. And so everybody sees that. I won't allow anybody to work more hours or harder than I do. So if there's a mid-watch, we were on watch 24/7. I'm always awake on mid-watch. Mm-hmm. Just so everybody sees that I'm there with them. Leaders need to earn their street credit. Mm-hmm. Everywhere you go. It's not enough to say that, I made my bones or I've paid my dues or something like that. Your people need to see you. They need to know that you're working at least as hard as they are. From a military context, it's huge and important. Mm-hmm. And it is in the civilian world too. But again, some of the things that we ask people to do, they need to know that I have their best interests at heart. They need to know that I have their back. And you don't earn that trust with a collar device or your rank or anything like that. It's trust that you need to earn as a sailor. So you just come into my unit, you're new here. It's your first day in. Some of those kids out there wearing a uniform right now don't know any more about the Navy than you do at this moment. training them, helping them, getting their pay situated, getting their birthing situated, making sure their family situation is all right. And there are always issues. Making sure that you address those issues. When they see you going over and above and taking care of their business, when they know that, if they do their job, I'm gonna do my job. And they have that trust. It's different here in this building. There's nothing bad's going to happen to us. Odds are no one's going to blow us up today. Mm-hmm. When we're out in the field, that changes. So the level of trust between sailors gets a lot, higher and stronger. Never yell unless it's for effect. Never yell when you're angry. Yelling is an effective tool sometimes, but only when it's for effect. Mm-hmm. Never, ever, ever, ever allow anybody in your group to work harder than you. Do not allow that to happen. Always make sure that you're working harder than the people that you're supporting and taking care of. Because I'm not running anything. They're running it. I'm not the one who's standing in hard watches and doing the crazy dangerous jobs they are. My job is to support them and take care of them. Don't ever for a minute feel like you've arrived, because you haven't arrived. Still, any leader, any manager, I think your job is to take care of the people who are on the ground doing the actual work. And don't ever compromise yourself. I've seen so many of the new leaders we get, they'll compromise themselves with their juniors. Integrity is really important. You're a leader, and you will lose everything. You'll lose any authority that you have the moment you compromise your principles. One of these guys out here might be my good friend. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing evaluations right now on these guys. If I give my good friend an evaluation they don't deserve, there are no secrets. There are no secrets anywhere. There's no secrets in an office. There's no secrets anywhere. Everybody will know that, and the way that they respond to me after that will change. So it's just critically important to never compromise yourself, as hard as that is. One of the things I've learned is everybody needs something different. I've got some sailors who work best if I leave them completely and utterly alone. If I just give them direction and leave them alone, they shine. I've got sailors who need a lot of positive affirmations throughout the day. So they need to be told that they're doing a good job, or you're good enough, you're smart enough, everybody loves you. And I'm making that sound in a negative way. That's not a negative, it's just something people respond to. I've got other sailors that need to, for lack of a better term, have a gun put to their head. Say, do this or you're not going home. Or, do this or you're going to make your life miserable. Other sailors work better under that sort of situation. It really just depends on the person and the group. But typically, my leadership style is I like to give people the opportunity to succeed. I don't want to micromanage it. I like to give people I found that sailors work the best and come up with the best solutions if you just leave them alone. You've got an instruction and a guidance for everything in the military. You wouldn't believe it. But if you give a sailor a mission and tell them to figure it out, they will. And they'll do a good job. They just need your support. Learn how to follow. Learn what everybody's got. Managers, leaders. You learn, watch those people, watch what they're doing, and follow what they do. Follow their instructions. They may not be the best instructions. They may not be perfect. Odds are there'll be mistakes that are made along the way. But if you want to lead, you first need to learn how to follow.